A week slipped by, each day marked by the swift decline of Edgar Linton's condition. What had taken months to erode was now being undone in mere hours. We wished to shield Catherine from this truth, but her sharp intuition saw through any pretense. She sensed the grim likelihood, which slowly became an undeniable certainty. She couldn't bring herself to mention her planned ride when Thursday arrived. I brought it up for her and secured permission to send her outside. The library, where her father spent a brief time each day, the only period he could manage to sit up. And his room had become her entire world. She begrudged every moment not spent by his pillow or at his side. Her face grew pale with constant vigil and sorrow, and my master was relieved to send her off, hoping it would be a welcome change of scenery and company, comforting himself with the thought that she wouldn't be completely alone after his passing. He seemed convinced, from various remarks he made, that since his nephew resembled him physically, he would also share his mental traits. For Linton's letters showed little sign of his flawed character. In a moment of understandable weakness, I chose not to correct the mistake. I wondered what purpose it would serve to trouble his final moments with information he could neither use nor benefit from. We postponed our outing until the afternoon, a golden August afternoon. Every breath from the hills was so vibrant with life that it seemed even the dying might find renewal in it. Catherine's face mirrored the landscape, shadows and sunlight flitting across it in quick succession. Yet the shadows lingered longer, and the sunlight was fleeting. Her tender heart felt guilty for even that brief escape from its burdens. We spotted Linton waiting at the same place as before. My young mistress dismounted and instructed me to hold the pony and remain on horseback, as she intended to stay only briefly. But I disagreed. I wouldn't risk losing sight of the responsibility entrusted to me for even a moment. So, we climbed the heath together. Master Heathcliff greeted us with more energy this time. Not the energy of high spirits or joy, but something closer to fear. "It's late," he said, his words clipped and labored. "Isn't your father very ill? I didn't think you'd come." "Why won't you just be honest?" Catherine demanded, swallowing her initial greeting. "Why can't you simply admit you don't want me here? It's baffling, Linton, that you've brought me here again, seemingly just to upset us both, and for no apparent reason." Linton trembled, casting a glance at her that was part pleading, part ashamed. But his cousin's patience was too thin to tolerate such cryptic behavior. "My father is very ill," she stated. "So why am I being pulled away from his side? Why didn't you release me from my promise if you didn't want me to fulfill it? Come on, I need an explanation. I've no room for games or frivolity in my mind right now. I can't waste time on your pretenses." "My pretenses," he murmured. "What are they?" "For heaven's sake, Catherine, don't look at me with such anger. Despise me all you want. I'm a worthless, cowardly wretch. I can't be scorned enough. But I'm too insignificant for your anger. Hate my father, and spare me your contempt." "Ridiculous!" Catherine exclaimed, her temper flaring. "Foolish, silly boy. Look at him. Tremble as if I might actually touch him. You don't need to invite contempt, Linton. Anyone would offer it freely. Get away. I'm going back home. Why, it's pointless, dragging you from the fireplace and pretending. What are we even pretending? Let go of my dress?" If I felt sorry for you because you're crying and looking so terrified, you should reject such pity. Ellen?
Tell him how disgraceful this behavior is. Stand up. And don't debase yourself into a pathetic creature. Don't!
With tears streaming down his face and an expression of pure agony, Linton lay limp on the ground, seized by an overwhelming terror. "Oh," he sobbed, "I can't bear it. Catherine, I'm a traitor too, and I'm too scared to tell you. But if you leave me, I'll be killed. Dear Catherine, my life is in your hands. You said you loved me, and if you meant it, it wouldn't hurt you. You won't leave, will you? Kind, sweet, good Catherine, and maybe you'll agree, and he'll let me die with you." The young woman, seeing his deep distress, bent down to help him up. Her initial irritation melted away, replaced by a familiar tenderness, and she became genuinely concerned and alarmed. "Consent to what?" she asked. "To stay. Explain the strange talk. And I will. You're contradicting yourself and confusing me. Be calm. Be honest. Tell me everything that's troubling you. You wouldn't harm me, Linton, would you? You wouldn't let anyone else hurt me if you could stop it. I might think you're a coward when it comes to yourself, but not a cowardly traitor to your closest friend." "But my father threatened me," the boy gasped, clutching his frail fingers together. I fear him. I can't tell." "Fine then," Catherine replied with a mix of scorn and pity. "Keep your secret. I'm no coward. Save yourself. I'm not afraid." Her noble spirit brought him to tears. He wept uncontrollably, kissing her supportive hands, yet still couldn't find the courage to speak. I pondered what the mystery could be, and resolved that Catherine would never suffer for his sake or anyone else's, as far as I could help it. Just then, hearing a rustle in the heather, I looked up to see Mr. Heathcliff approaching, almost upon us, descending from the heights. He didn't even glance at my companions, though they were close enough for Linton's sobs to be heard. Instead, he greeted me with a warmth he reserved for no one else, though I couldn't help but question its sincerity. "It's something to see you so close to my home, Nellie. How are things at the Grange?" "Tell me," he said, lowering his voice. "There's talk that Edgar Linton is on his deathbed. Are they overstating his condition?" "No, it's true," I replied. "My master is dying. It's a sad event for us all, but perhaps a mercy for him." "How long do you think he has?" he asked. "I don't know," I answered. He turned his gaze to the two young people, who seemed frozen under his scrutiny. Linton looked too afraid to move or lift his head, and Catherine was immobilized by his presence. "Because that boy over there seems intent on outlasting me, and I'd appreciate it if his uncle would hurry up and go first. Has the pup been pulling this act for long? I did give him some lessons on whining. Is he usually this lively with Miss Linton?" "Lively? No. He's been utterly distraught," I replied. "Honestly, he looks like he should be in bed, under a doctor's care, rather than wandering the hills with his sweetheart." "He will be, soon enough," Heathcliff muttered. "But first, get up, Linton. Get up," he shouted. "Stop grovelling on the ground. Up right now." Linton had collapsed again, seized by another wave of helpless fear, likely triggered by his father's gaze. There was nothing else to cause such utter debasement. He tried several times to comply, But his frail strength was completely sapped, and he fell back with a groan. Mr. Heathcliff stepped forward and propped him against a grassy ridge. "Now," he said, his anger barely contained, "I'm losing patience, and if you don't muster some courage, damn it, get up immediately." "I will, father," Linton gasped. "Just leave me be, or I'll faint. I've done what you wanted, I swear. Catherine will tell you that I have been cheerful." "Stay close, Catherine. Give me your hand." "Here, take mine," his father interjected. "Stand up. There you go. She'll support you." "That's right. Focus on her. You'd think I was some kind of monster, Miss Linton, to cause such fear. Would you be so kind as to walk him home? He recoils when I touch him." "Linton, darling," Catherine whispered, "I can't go to Wuthering Heights. My father has forbidden it, as he won't hurt you. Why are you so frightened?" "I can never go back to that house," he replied. "I won't go back without you." "Hold on," his father interrupted. "We'll honour Catherine's duty to her father. Nellie, take him inside, and I'll heed your advice about calling the doctor right away." "That's wise," I responded, "but I must stay with my mistress. Looking after your son isn't my responsibility." "You're quite unyielding," Heathcliff remarked. "I know that, but you'll make me pinch the baby to get any compassion from you. Come on then, my brave one. Are you ready to return with me as your escort?" He approached again, as if to grasp the fragile figure. But Linton recoiled, clinging to his cousin, pleading desperately for her to stay with him, his urgency leaving no room for refusal. Despite my disapproval, I couldn't stop her. How could she deny him? We couldn't fathom what terror gripped him, but it held him utterly helpless, and any further distress might have driven him to madness. We reached the entrance. Catherine entered, and I lingered outside, waiting for her to settle the invalid in a chair, expecting her swift return. But then Mr. Heathcliff nudged me forward, declaring, "My house isn't cursed, Nellie. Today I feel like being hospitable. Come in and let me close the door." He closed and locked it. I was taken aback. "You'll have tea before you leave," he continued. "I'm alone. Hareton's gone with some cattle to the Lees, and Zillah and Joseph are off on a pleasure trip. Though I'm accustomed to solitude, I'd prefer some engaging company, if possible. Miss Linton, sit beside him. I offer what I have. The present may seem meagre, but it's all I can give." "I mean, Linton." How she stares. It's strange how a primal urge rises in me toward anything that seems to fear me. If I had been born in a place where laws were looser and sensibilities less refined, I might indulge in the slow torment of those two as a pastime for the evening. He inhaled sharply, slammed the table, and muttered to himself, "By hell, I despise them." "I'm not afraid of you," declared Catherine, unable to hear the last part of his muttering. She stepped forward, her dark eyes blazing with defiance and determination. "Give me that key. I will have it," she demanded. "I wouldn't eat or drink here, even if I were starving." Heathcliff held the key in his hand, resting on the table. He looked up, momentarily caught off guard by her audacity, or perhaps reminded by her voice and gaze of the person she took after. She lunged for the key, nearly prying it from his relaxed grip, but her movement jolted him back to the moment, and he quickly reclaimed it. Now, Catherine Linton, he warned, step back, or I'll knock you down, and thou will drive Mrs. Dean mad. Ignoring his threat, she seized his clenched hand and its contents once more. We will go, she insisted, pouring every ounce of strength into loosening his iron grip. When her nails failed to make a dent, she resorted to biting him sharply. Heathcliff shot me a look that froze me in place, preventing any intervention. Catherine was so focused on his fingers that she missed the expression on his face. Suddenly, he released his hold, surrendering the contested item. But before she could secure it, he grabbed her with his free hand, pulled her onto his knee, and delivered a barrage of brutal slaps to both sides of her head, each one powerful enough to make good on his threat, had she been able to fall. At this monstrous act, I lunged at him in a fury. "You villain!" I shouted. "You villain!" But a mere touch to my chest silenced me. I am stout and quickly winded, and between that and my rage, I staggered back, dizzy and on the verge of suffocating or bursting a blood vessel. The ordeal was over in 2 minutes. Catherine, now free, pressed her hands to her temples, unsure if her ears were still attached. She trembled like a reed, poor thing, leaning against the table in utter bewilderment. "I know how to discipline children, as you see," the scoundrel said grimly, bending to retrieve the key that had fallen to the floor. "Go to Linton now, as I instructed. Cry all you want. I'll be your father tomorrow. All the father you'll have in a few days. And you'll have plenty of that. You can handle a lot. You're no pushover. If I catch that fiery look in your eyes again, you'll get a daily dose of this." Cathy rushed to me, instead of Linton, kneeling down and pressing her feverish cheek against my lap, sobbing openly. Her cousin had retreated into a corner of the settle, as silent as a mouse, likely relieved yet that the reprimand had landed on someone else. Mr. Heathcliff, noticing our collective bewilderment, stood up and swiftly prepared the tea himself. The cups and saucers were already set. He poured the tea and handed me a cup. "Calm your temper," he said, "and help your own mischievous pet and mine. It's not poisoned, even though I made it. I'm heading out to find your horses." As soon as he left, our first thought was to find a way out. We tried the kitchen door, but it was locked from the outside. We examined the windows. They were too narrow, even for Cathy's small frame. "Master Linton," I called out, realizing we were truly trapped. "You know what your devilish father is planning, and you will tell us, or I'll box your ears, just like he did to your cousin." "Yes, Linton, you have to tell us," Catherine insisted. "I came here for your sake. And it would be terribly ungrateful if you refuse." "Pour me some tea. I'm parched, and then I'll explain," he replied. "Mrs. Dean, please step back. I don't like you hovering over me. Now, Catherine, your tears are falling into my cup. I won't drink that. Give me another." Catherine handed him a fresh cup and wiped her face. I was appalled by the little scoundrel's calmness, now that he was no longer afraid for himself. The panic he'd shown on the moor vanished the moment he stepped into Wuthering Heights. It seemed he'd been threatened with dire consequences if he failed to lure us there. With that task done, his immediate fears dissipated. "Father wants us to marry," he continued, after taking a sip. "He knows your father wouldn't allow it now. and he's worried I might die if we delay. So we're to wed in the morning, and you are to stay here tonight. If you comply with his wishes, you'll return home tomorrow and take me with you." "Take you with her, you pitiful creature!" I burst out. "You marry? The man's insane. Or he thinks we're all fools. Do you really believe that lovely young woman, that vibrant girl, would bind herself to a frail little thing like you? Are you seriously entertaining the idea that anyone, especially Miss Catherine Linton, would ever consider marrying you? You deserve a good thrashing for dragging us into this mess with your cowardly, whining antics. And don't give me that foolish look. I'm tempted to shake some sense into you for your pathetic betrayal and ridiculous arrogance." I did give him a slight shake, but it triggered his coughing fit, and he resorted to his usual routine of moaning and crying, prompting Catherine to scold me. "Stay all night? Absolutely not," she declared, surveying the room with determination. "Ellen, I'll burn that door down if I have to, but I will get out." She was ready to act on her threat immediately, but Linton, fearing for himself, clung to her with his frail little arms, sobbing. "Won't you stay with me and save me? Won't you let me come to the Grange? Oh, darling Catherine, you can't leave me now. You must do as my father says. You must." "I have to follow my own heart," she answered, "and free him from this agonizing uncertainty the entire night." What would he think? He must already be worried sick. I'll find a way out of this house, even if I have to break or burn my way through. Stay calm. You're not in any danger, but if you try to stop me, Linton, I love my father more than I love you. The sheer terror of Mr. Heathcliff's wrath brought back Linton's cowardly eloquence. Catherine was nearly out of her mind with distress, yet she insisted she had to return home, pleading with him to overcome his selfish despair. As they were caught up in this struggle, our jailer returned. "Your animals have wandered off," he announced. "And Linton? Crying again? What has she done to you now? Come on, stop it, and get to bed. In a month or two, my boy, you'll be able to repay her current tyrannies with a strong hand. You're yearning for pure love, aren't you? Nothing else matters, and she'll be yours. Now off to bed. Zillah won't be here tonight. You'll have to undress yourself. Quiet down. Stop making such a racket. Once you're in your own room, I won't come near you. You don't need to worry. By chance, you've managed well enough. I'll handle the rest." He said this while holding the door open for his son to leave, and the boy exited like a wary spaniel, suspecting the person leading it might have a cruel trick in mind. The lock clicked shut again. Heathcliff moved toward the fire, where my mistress and I stood in silence. Catherine glanced up, instinctively touching her cheek. His presence rekindled a painful memory. Anyone else would have found it hard to be stern at such a childish gesture. But he glared at her and muttered, "Oh, you're not afraid of me. Your courage is well hidden. You seem terribly afraid." "I am afraid now," she replied, "because if I stay, my father will be miserable. How can I bear to make him miserable when he... Mr. Heathcliff, please let me go home. I promised to marry Linton. My father wants me to, and I love him. Why would you want to force me to do what I'm willing to do on my own?" "Let him dare to force you," I exclaimed. "There's law in this land, thank God, even here, in this remote place. I'd report him, even if he were my own son. Hey, it's a felony, without the possibility of pardon. Quiet, the ruffian snapped. Enough of your noise. I don't need you to speak. Miss Linton, I'll take great pleasure in knowing your father will be tormented by this. I won't sleep out of sheer satisfaction. You couldn't have chosen a better way to ensure you stay under my roof for the next 24 hours than by telling me such a thing would happen. As for your promise to marry Linton, I'll make sure you keep it. You won't leave here until it's done. Then send Ellen to let Papa know I'm safe, cried Catherine, tears streaming down her face. Or marry me now. Dear Papa. Ellen, he'll think we're lost. What are we going to do? He won't think that. He'll assume you got tired of waiting on him and ran off for a bit of fun. Heathcliff replied, You can't deny you came into my house of your own free will, despite his orders to the contrary. It's only natural for you to seek out some fun at your age, and it's understandable that you'd grow tired of tending to a sick man, even if that man is your own father. Catherine, his best days were already behind him by the time you came into this world. He probably cursed your birth. I know I did. And it would be fitting if he cursed you as he left it. I'd join him in that. I don't love you. Why would I? Go ahead and cry. As far as I can tell, it will be your main source of entertainment from now on, unless Linton somehow makes up for everything else you've lost. Your thoughtful father seems to think he might. His letters, full of advice and consolation, were quite amusing to me. In his last one, he advised my precious boy to be careful with you, and kind to you once he had you. Careful and kind, that's fatherly, isn't it? But Linton needs all the care and kindness for himself. Linton is quite skilled at playing the little tyrant. He'd happily torment any number of cats, as long as the teeth were pulled and their claws trimmed. You'll have plenty of stories to tell his uncle about his so-called kindness when you get back home, I promise you. You've got that right. I said, describe your son's character, show how he mirrors you, and perhaps Miss Cathy will reconsider before she embraces such a serpent. I don't mind discussing his charming traits now, he replied, because she must either accept him or remain captive here with you until your master passes away. I can keep you both hidden away. If you doubt me, encourage her to withdraw her promise, and you'll see for yourself. I won't withdraw my promise, Catherine declared. I'll marry him this very hour if it means I can go to Thrushcross Grange afterward. Mr. Heathcliff, you're a cruel man, but you're not a demon. You won't, out of sheer spite, utterly ruin my happiness. If my father thought I abandoned him intentionally, and he died before I returned, how could I bear to live? I've stopped crying, but I'm going to kneel here at your feet, and I won't rise, nor will I look away until you meet my gaze. No, don't turn away. Do look. You'll find nothing to provoke you. I don't hate you. I'm not upset that you hit me. Have you never loved anyone in your entire life, Uncle? Not once? Please, just look at me. I'm so miserable, you can't help but feel sorry for me. Keep your hands off me, or I'll kick you, Heathcliff shouted, pushing her away with brutal disdain. I'd rather be embraced by a snake. How on earth can you think of clinging to me? I despise you. He shrugged, shaking himself as if his skin crawled with disgust, and pushed his chair back. I stood up, ready to unleash a torrent of insults, but was silenced mid-sentence by the threat of being locked in a room alone if I spoke another word. As darkness fell, we heard voices at the garden gate. Our host rushed out immediately. He was alert, while we were not. There was a brief exchange, and he returned alone. "I thought it might be your cousin Hareton," I said to Catherine. "I wish he'd show up. Maybe he'd side with us." "It was 3 servants sent to fetch you from the Grange," Heathcliff interjected, having overheard me. "You should have opened a window and called out. But I bet that girl is relieved you didn't. She's happy to have a reason to stay. I'm sure of it." When we realized the opportunity we'd missed, we both let our sorrow pour out unchecked. He let us cry until 9 o'clock. Then he told us to go upstairs, through the kitchen, to Zilla's room. I whispered to my companion to comply. Maybe we could find a way out through the window there. Or perhaps reach the attic and escape via the skylight. But the window was just as narrow as the ones below, and the attic hatch was beyond our reach. We were locked in as before. Neither of us lay down to sleep. Catherine positioned herself by the window, anxiously waiting for dawn. A deep sigh was the only response I got to my repeated pleas for her to try and rest. I sat in a chair, rocking back and forth, harshly judging my numerous failures. It seemed to me then that all my employer's troubles stemmed from my neglect. It wasn't true. I know that now. But in my mind, on that gloomy night, I thought Heathcliff himself was less to blame than I was. At 7 o'clock, he arrived and asked if Miss Linton was up. She rushed to the door and answered, "Yes." "Come here, then," he said, opening the door and pulling her out. I stood to follow, but he locked it again. I demanded to be let out. "Be patient," he said. "I'll have your breakfast sent up soon." I pounded on the panels and shook the latch in frustration. Catherine asked why I was still locked in. He told her I needed to endure it for another hour, and they left. I endured it for 2 or 3 hours until I finally heard footsteps. Definitely not Heathcliff's. "I've brought you something to eat," a voice said. "Open the door." Eagerly complying, I saw Hareton carrying enough food to last me the entire day. "Take it," he said, pushing the tray into my hands. "Wait a minute," I started to say. "No," he replied, retreating, ignoring any pleas I made to keep him there. And so I remained confined for the entire day, through the night, and the next, and the next. 5 nights and 4 days passed, with only Hareton appearing each morning, a perfect bestimmte jailer, surly, silent, and unmoved by any appeals to his sense of justice or compassion.